Welcome to the Sweet Spot. I'm Rocco McSweets, as always, and I'm being joined today by a very special guest, Slikk Tyson Stone, one of my personal good friends. How you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm good, man. Happy Friday. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, dude, you know what it is.
Yes, I do.
I love your ass, even if you're a Falcons fan.
Hey, nobody's perfect.
Oh, boy. How you doing?
Yeah, man, I'm good. Like I said, I had a tough week, trying to get back into it, going to the gym, going do training and stuff like that. It's only so many hours in a day. You know how it goes.
Yes, there are, man. I'm glad to hear that you're back in the gym training,
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Where have you been training recently?
So I've been training. I've been training at Butcher Shop mostly. That's just up in Westminster. It's about a 2-hour drive, but it's well worth it. We go up. Me and my wife were training up there. With Duff Doyle. Yeah, he's a sadist, so there's that.
Duff McDoyle. Hey, that might work actually.
Yeah, I messed up his name, so I hope he's not listening to this.
You were thinking McDougal. I felt it. I felt the vibe. It's okay. Hey, you're training underneath both, so you're good. He's just gonna run you a little harder next week.
Oh yeah. No, I've been to a couple of McDougal seminars. Great guy. He's like he's like an infinite wealth of knowledge. It's like he does like a 3-hour seminar, and he's like, wait, where does the 3 hours go? And then, so it's been a while since I've went to a seminar and trained under him, but I want to do that again because he's definitely more than meets the eye. You learn a lot from him.
The greatest luchador in Colorado, baby.
Yeah, one of them anyway. Unmasked, of course.
So what was the path? You've trained, you've gotten into wrestling, you've done refereeing, all that. What made you want to get back into the gym to get a little bit better at this craft?
So I'm always my harshest critic. That's one of the things that I have. It's a good quality to have, but it's also a bad quality to have. And some of my matches that I've been in, especially when I was the CSW 719 champion, I felt they were a little bit subpar. And I started thinking to myself, okay, so what if I do this? What if I, work on this? What if I add a little bit of this to my character? And that's what I'm trying to do now, because like one of my friends, Gino Rivera, says, like, you could be, there are generic big men out there. Do you want to be like a generic big guy that just doesn't do stuff? Or do you want to be one of those big guys who like surprises people, like, like Keith Lee, like Uha Nation or Apollo Crews, like Willie Mack. So you decide what you want to be. So that's some of the stuff that I'm actually working on. So it's not going to be just, straight beat you down. It might be, might bust out a technical move. I might bust out a lucha move. You don't know.
Yeah, that's good, man. It's good to always have that your craft as rounded as possible, especially in that squared circle.
Yes, sir.
Breaking kayfabe a little bit, you have to know how to work with everybody within that ring. So all the different styles coming at you. If you only know one style, you're kind of put in a position where you're not going to be able to succeed as best. Right. So your self-recognition and your understanding that you needed to grow is awesome, man. That's great to hear.
No, thank you. I said, dude. I always feel like I want to improve. So like I said, pulling back the curtain a little bit, my dad, he was kind of a stickler on me. So he was the type of person where if I got a 98, he wouldn't focus on the fact that I got a 98. He would always say, like, okay, so what did you do or what didn't you do to get the last two? And I've gotten that with me, like, okay, so this match was pretty good. What could be done to improve, So that's where I'm at.
It's, I grew up with a pretty discipline heavy father. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, looking back, like, as a kid, it's like, damn, they're riding me hard. But looking back, it's like, man, I wouldn't have the traits that I do now and the ability to overcome some of the obstacles. Me and you have talked about some of the obstacles that I go through. And so being able to overcome that is all taught from my dad. Not necessarily a hard ass. He loved me to death, but it was a skill that I was learning.
So one of the things that my dad taught me, because before I went to the Army, and I was so keep in mind, I was in Alaska, and I don't know if you ever been to Alaska, but there's two types. Okay, so it's two types of temps up there, and I know it's like, okay, yeah, it's cold because it's Denver, but once you get acclimated to it, it's it's either it's cold or it's break up and it's really, really humid. And it's like disgustingly humid. So I'm about to go into the army, and my dad's like, oh, so he'll wake me up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, which, if you know about the sunlight being up 18 hours out of the day in the summer and 18 hours of darkness, he'd wake me up and then like, okay, get dressed. And he'll take me out like 2 or 3 miles, and he's like, look, I'm exactly 2 miles from the house. You got this amount of time to get to the house. If you don't get to by that time, the door is going to be locked and you're going to be outside all day. And he would, he would make me do like push-ups and sit-ups and stuff like that. And he said, the reason why I'm so hard on you is because when you go into the army, they're not going to give a damn about you. I'm going to treat you as tough as possible because I love you and I want you to succeed. So that way, when you go to the army and go to Fort Benning, this is nothing. So, and that's exactly where it ended up.
Yeah. Would you say that helped you succeed within the military?
Well, you have to people have different definitions of succeeding. Okay. Do I feel that I succeeded in the army? Not so much. As far as rank wise, no, I didn't get as far as I wanted in my career. Did I come back alive? Yes, I did. Did I do my job? Yes, I did. Did I actually save people by doing my job? Because I don't know if you know this, I was a communications NCO, communication specialist. And my job is to make sure that the guys' communication systems are working. So that way, when they go outside the wire and they go on missions, if they get attacked and they can't talk back to, get reinforcements, they're screwed. And
so you're the guy that submarine needed, right? I had to.
I know. If they were listening to me, I would tell them not to do it in the first place. But
boy.
But nobody
continue your story though. Yeah, continue your story.
Nobody listens to a black guy in movies, so why is it different now? But so I was that guy. I was that guy where your digital systems had to be working, your radio systems had to be working, because once I've been on patrols, and once you're outside the wire, depending on how far you're out, you're screwed. If you get attacked, you get overrun, and you can't talk back and let them know, or one of your guys is down and you're injured and they need a medevac, the time is ticking, and that's where my job was important. So as far as, and I know I'm rambling here, but as far as
no, continue. That's what I want from this. I love the long-winded answers, man.
Yeah, but as far as success goes, did I get as far as I wanted in my career? No, absolutely not. But as far as making a difference and helping guys and teaching guys communications and doing what I was supposed to do, yeah, I feel that. And I came back in semi one piece. Yeah, I feel that it was a success.
Yeah, that's something that I can never truly understand, as I've never been in the military, but boy, am I thankful for what you guys do for us.
Thank you.
It's something that's I think it goes without saying, but it is nice to let you guys know that it's very much appreciated. And
my pleasure.
Yeah, we wouldn't have a lot of the I don't want to use the word freedoms, but the luxuries even, because it's not just about our rights. It's like, man, we wouldn't have half the things we do without you. So I appreciate you guys.
Hey, my pleasure. I appreciate it.
What made you want to get into the military? What was that route? Like, where did you decide, what, this is where I want to be?
So funny story behind that. I initially did not want to go into the Army. I actually wanted to go into the Air Force. So and this is 96, so this is just weird. So if you can go back to where Clinton's president and all that. So I graduated from high school in Alaska. Dad wanted me to go into the Army because I was in ROTC for 4 years and I was good at it. I was decent at it. And he's like, yeah, you should go into the Army. You'll make E4, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, Dad, I don't want to go into the Army. No disrespect. I don't want to be you. I don't want to go into the Army. I'll go into the Air Force. And we came into a compromise where I would go into the Air National Guard. I did 3 years in the Air National Guard. I have a 6-year contract, and I loved it so much that I wanted to go active duty Air Force. So here's where the problem lies. At the time, the Air Force was really, really selective on who they wanted. So if you was in the Guard longer than a year, you couldn't go active duty, which was crazy because I was like, it's not really a difference, you know. I just get extra uniforms and I go to a duty station and it is what it is. So
Yeah.
I was writing letters. I was trying to get, you know, people to co-sign on my behalf. Well, life throws an interesting turn because at the time I found out I was having a son. So you like my dad always says, you know, hey, once you have a kid, you're not living for you anymore. You're living for your child. And
Yep.
your so any of your dreams, any of your aspirations, they're going on the back burner at least 18 years, 16 to 18 years. So
Yes.
I joined active duty Army. I went to Fort Basic and Fort Benning, and then did AIT in Fort Gordon, Georgia. Which is funny because they told me like I'm going to Fort Benning, and I laughed at the recruiter, and he's like, "What's so funny?" I said, "You didn't even look at my birthplace, did you? I'm actually from Columbus, Georgia. So if I wanted to go AWOL, they would never find me." Because I know Columbus like the back of my hand, because that's what Fort Benning is. But yeah, I had to start over. And yeah, I got my rank back when I graduated basic and AIT, and then I did my first duty station in Schofield Barracks, Hawaii for 3 years.
Okay.
Then came here to Fort Carson, got deployed 4 times in a row, and then went to Korea for a year, and then, you know, came back, then got sent back here, and then got out, and then I did 6 years in Army Reserve here, and then I finally completed my service in 2014.
Okay. All right. That's a fairly long career in the
Yeah,
military.
24 years. That's a long time.
Yeah. And was there any certain reason why you decided to leave the military, or was it just you felt your time was like, this is it, time to move on?
It was a little bit of both, because well, one of the things, like with all things, even with wrestling, is not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
And I've been passed over. So one of the hardest things that I had to do was getting promoted. And I'll try and dumb it down as best I can. So when you're trying to get your it took me a while to get my E5, my
Okay.
sergeant. And it took me 8 years, which coming in as an E4 to E5, 8 years, that's ludicrous. Because I know people
Yeah.
who've been in for 8 years as an E4 and they got their E7s, and I'm here struggling. And I mean, it was do I think it was personal politics, or I wasn't liked, or I looked big for being a soldier, but yet I passed my PT test, I passed my tape,
Yeah.
I never got in trouble. But it was, you know, we got a guy who's the poster guy of the Army. He's slim, he's that, but doesn't know his job, gets on the blotter report, all that shit. I don't know, I'm sorry if I'm not supposed to cuss, but yeah, that's how it was. And so yeah, and then I tore my knee in 2003, and I gained a massive amount of weight. I was 282 pounds, and I got deployed. In fact, my knee was so damaged that they had to do 2 different knee surgeries. So they had to do one, wait 6 months, do the other, and then right when I came back to duty, it's like, okay, yeah, you're getting deployed. I'm like, I literally just got cleared for my, yeah, well, you're going over now. And they told me, it was like, hey, look, the reason why you're not getting promoted is because you're big. You're 282 pounds, and you're 5'9". So over in Iraq, kind of like what I was doing now, I busted my ass. I trained 2 times a day, 6 hours. I had 60 pounds of gear and triple digit heat. And in 6 months, I went from 282 to 206. And people thought I was sick. People thought I had some sort of cancer or something. They were like, "Wait, what's going on with you? Where are you? What happened to you?" I was like, "Yeah, there's if you look close enough, there's certain pieces of me or drops of me.
I left it back there."
Yes, it's all because I would go to the gym at 3 a.m. in the morning, 3 to 5 or 3 to 6, do my workouts, go on a treadmill for an hour. And I didn't really have like a trainer or anything. I just wanted to drop weight, and I just wanted to.
Yeah.
wanted to show them that okay, if this is all that's stopping me, then I'll do it. So I would
Yep.
go to the gym at 3 a.m, go to work out till like 5 or 6, do work all day, and then if I didn't go on missions or anything, go to the gym at night after dinner, and then I would go to bed at like 9, just to repeat the whole cycle. And I did this for 6 months, and the worst, and I didn't get a happy ending out of this because I did all this and they still didn't promote me. So I did all this, I worked hard, I did everything they said, still didn't get it. And same thing happened when I did get my 5, and then they said, hey, you're going to Korea, which I didn't want to go to Korea because I did 4 Iraq deployments back to back. And I'm like, y'all trying to get me divorced here. So I go and I want to go. The only reason I went to Korea was because I was trying to make my staff sergeant, my E6.
Yeah.
And I got kicked off the board by a sergeant major because, oh yeah, he looks big. I'm like, I'm big, but I've passed my weight. I passed my tape. I've done my classes for E5 through E9. I know sergeant majors that haven't even did that, and I'm trying to make my promotion, and you kick me off the board because I'm big. I don't care how big I look. If I look, I'll take any. If a guy's good at his job and he doesn't get himself in any trouble, I don't care if he looks like the Blob. As long as he does his job and does what he's supposed to do, I don't care. So so fast forward, I got out because it was politics, and it's not, like I said, it's not what you know, it's who you know, and unfortunately that happens a lot in life. So I just got used to it.
Yeah, it's a path that a lot of people find themselves on, skipped over for others. But hey, man, that just makes us that much more hungry.
That's correct.
We got a comment here, and they said, "Thank you for your service."
Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
So post-military, was it an immediate transition into pro wrestling, or was there a time in between there where you were trying to find yourself?
Okay, so funny story. So I get out the military, get out active duty, and I got to figure it out. Like, okay, I got to find a job because I don't have a job anymore. So I got to figure out what I'm trying to do here. So went to college for a little bit, and I know everything that I'm going to tell you is like tragedy. Like, dude, you have no luck whatsoever. So I went to CTU. Over here in the Springs. Wasn't the greatest student, but I did what I was supposed to do, and I worked at the same time. Well, I wound up dropping a class because it was conflicting with my hours, and then they said, yeah, you can't, we're gonna have to drop you from your program. I'm like, why? It's like, because you dropped your class. I'm like, okay, I dropped my class because it was conflicting with hours, and if I don't come to class, I won't pass. So and it's like, oh yeah, well, we're dropping you from your program. I was like, okay, can I go to any program? They're like, no, you can't go to any program. So basically, I had to start all my classes had to start all the way over, and this is just for me trying to get my associates. And I was like, okay. So I eventually got my associates, but at the time,
congratulations.
Thank you. It took me 22 years to get it, but whatever. But at the time I wanted to. So ironically, I've always been a wrestling fan. I've been a wrestling fan since I want to say 6 or 8.
Awesome.
And every time that I left an area, wrestling will pop up. So like, for example, there was no wrestling in Alaska. And WWE will show up like once every 2, 3, 4 years. Now they got a wrestling promotion in Anchorage, where I'm from, 907 Wrestling. I'm like,
that's so crazy.
That is crazy. And then I was in Hawaii, and I was there for 3 years. Did not know that there was wrestling there. I'm pretty sure, or you may have interviewed Big Guns. He was in
not yet. It's coming up.
Okay, so it's funny because he was stationed in Hawaii too. He actually got trained out there. I didn't know there was a wrestling school or wrestling promotion out there. So when I left, I found out about it I found out about wrestling there when I left. Then when I got out of the military, I was like, okay, there's where's the closest wrestling school? Okay, it's about 2.5 hours from you. And I'm like, yeah, how am I going to do this where I don't have a job? Got to drive, 5 hours every training session. And the thing about it is, yeah, there's passion, but then there's passion in the stupidity, and it's like that thin line. And you got to remember, at the time, I'm out of the military, I don't have a job, and I have 5 kids to take care of.
Exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say
So
you're a father, so it's a
yeah,
little different.
yeah, I'm a father
Yeah.
and a husband first,
Yeah.
and wrestling is a distant second. So yeah, so a couple of years later down the road, Randy Rude, who's the owner of CSW, he invited me. This is before he owned CSW. He invited me to a CSW show.
Back when he was still at Iron Hills.
No. This is actually before Iron Hills. This is before.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So Rude, he was a YouTube. He ran a YouTube show called The Rude Awakening. I was the boom mic guy. I was a boom mic guy, and he invited me to a show because we were both wrestling fans at the time. We were like huge marks. So I go to the wrestling. Yeah, we are, because if you're not a mark, why are we even doing this? So so I go to the wrestling show, and I remember it was Marty the Moth on there. I still have his poster that he signed. At the time, he was Lucha Underground champion at the time.
Yeah, wasn't that a good gimmick? Real quick,
God,
offshoot. That was so much fun.
He was given, he turned chicken shit into chicken salad. It's like, you're gonna be a creepy guy that nobody understands, and he made it work. And that's some of the greatest characters, is the characters where you don't think they will work, and they just work flawlessly. And they're the only ones. Like Undertaker, for example. Undertaker is a creepy mortician wizard who accidentally killed his brother.
And he's not the mortician, right? He's just the guy that like buries the body, right?
Exactly. And on the side, he's a biker. If you told anybody that, they will tell you, whatever you're on, stop taking it, because you're clearly on some shit. You need to stop. But it worked.
All right, let's continue though. Let's continue here.
Okay.
So Marty Moth, you were at the show with Rude.
Okay, so I was at the show with Rude, and he said, "Okay, so what did you think?" I said, "I think it's awesome." So it's like, so how would you feel if you did this? I said, "Bruh, I can't do that, man. I'm 41. I got a busted knee. I ain't trained in a minute. I'm big." And the first thing he said was like, "Hey, if Johnny Crash can do it, you definitely could do it." I didn't even meet Johnny Crash till much later. So a couple of other people that I met.
Yeah, one of the legends in Colorado.
Exactly.
Johnny Crash's GOAT.
I don't care if you're the Pope, or I don't care if you could be reincarnated Martin Luther King. If you're in the ring where Johnny Crash, you're automatically a bad guy. I'm sorry. That's just how you are. You could be God, and if he's in the ring, that's it. So
Lonnie in here with a quick comment. Lonnie Valdez says Marty would have made a good wizard. You darn tootin'.
I agree. So I met a couple of other people, like Achilles, who's now Javier Cruz. I met a couple of people like, yeah, you should do it. You should do it. And so I said, you know what, screw it. What's the worst I can do? I do it, and I don't go anywhere with it. And I trained at Empower. I tried Power Wrestling School, and
that's the original training school that you went to. Okay.
Yes, that was the very first one, and I trained with Big Guns Justin Andrews and Hard Knock Jimbo Lucas. Yeah, two people I wound up fighting later on, but that's another story for that. And funny thing is that I was kind of slow to pick up on things. I don't know if it was because I wasn't coordinated, or I was older, or stuff like that, or my body wasn't conditioning. Like, I had trouble running the ropes and turning the right way. I had trouble doing rolls. I had trouble, taking bumps, and then I wound up meeting Animal Sam a little bit later, and he wanted to be one of my primary trainers a little bit later on, and everybody was like, yeah, I don't know if you could do this, man. You're not picking up on it. So yeah, maybe you should be a referee. while you're doing it.
Yeah.
So, and I wound up doing a referee, and I was actually pretty good at it. And it's like, well, how about you be a referee from now on? Which that's another story for and later on through the interview. But yeah, I was a referee for a year and a half, and so yeah.
What so the transition, like, because that's usually it's you train to be ref, and then from there you get the itch to be in ring.
Mm-hmm.
Where you were pushed into the ref thing, not out of like anger or hate, just love and hey man, I think this would better suit you.
Right.
Were you Tyson Stone as the referee, or did you have a different moniker?
I had a different. I think I went through 3 gimmicks or 4 gimmicks before I settled on this one. So
okay, yeah, let's talk about that before. Let's talk about the referee gimmick, and then we'll move on to the next few.
Okay, so my nickname in training was Slikk, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't even remember how I got the nickname. I think Guns gave it to me, and like, yeah, that's gonna be your moniker. You're gonna be Sergeant Slikk. And I'm like, Sergeant Slikk, that sounds like a guy that's in the service and he's a pimp on the side. It's just,
I mean, yo, Huggy Bear, baby, you got reach
for
that shit.
I was like, I have a crushed velvet ACU.
Yo, hey,
and it was like, and I was like, well, that's your name, that's Slikk. And as you may or may not,
imagine some crushed velvet camo pants that would get over. Just saying.
I mean, it never been done before, so I wouldn't be surprised. Mm-hmm. I mean, and the thing about it is, when you get your first gimmick, I mean, when you're a trainee, you don't pick your gimmick. It's very, very rare that you pick your name and you pick your gimmick. So I was Sergeant Slikk, and then I was training, and then Guns goes and he deploys again. I think this is like his 4th or 5th time to Afghanistan. Okay. And I'm training. I haven't worked in a year or anywhere yet, because it's been like 4 or 5 months. And at the same time, while I'm training, I'm still doing the ref thing. I'm picking up. I'm doing better. I'm picking up on the stuff, so I'm progressing. Still doing the ref thing, and I get notified. This is like November, December, and I get told, "Hey, do you want to wrestle me when I come back?" Guns tells me this. It's like, "Do you want to wrestle me when you come back? Because there's only 2 people I'm going to want to wrestle for my comeback. It's either going to be you or it's going to be B-Mobile." And
this is post your referee stint?
This is,
or is this before being a referee?
This is pre-referee.
Okay.
I'm a transition.
So we have the timeline.
Okay, yeah, I'm a transition into that referee thing.
Beautiful.
So and this is from Afghanistan. We're talking. It's like, hey, I would like for you to wrestle me when I come back. Nobody knows he's coming back. He sent a video saying that he's still in Afghanistan. He didn't make the show. I think it was Mucha Lucha in November. So I cut a promo saying, I've been training and I haven't been on shows, and I feel this is disrespect. So the next show, if you don't get me an opponent, I'm gonna hold the show hostage. Nobody, if I ain't on the show, nobody's gonna have a show.
Yes.
So Randy comes out. I'm thinking it's gonna be Randy, Lilith Graham, who used to be wrestle. She's going on to do better, moved on to things. And then next thing I know, some unfamiliar music comes out, and Guns runs into, because we was at the corner pocket. Guns runs into the back, from the back, and everybody's cheering. I don't know what's going on. I'm thinking to the locker room. I'm looking at the locker room, and I'm thinking that he's coming towards the locker room. He comes from the back exit, turns around, and literally slaps the shit out of me. I mean, we're talking like Doctor Strange when he's pushed out of his body. And I'm like, bruh, I don't think this is a good idea that my second match be against my trainer. And, and I mean, and I still have it on my page, my YouTube page. Go use cheap plug, go to Slikk, Tyson Stone. It's the first one. And he hadn't wrestled in like 6 or 7 months. That was my second match. And for what it was worth, it was good. It was really, really good. So we ran it back. We ran it back the very next month. And It was the next month. It was kind of more barbaric because I accidentally put him in the hospital. It was not intentional. It was not malicious.
What
But
happened?
so I inadvertently kicked his family jewels. It was not, like I said, it wasn't malicious, but he did have to go to the hospital for that. That is not that is not storyline. He legit had to go to the hospital for that. I blew up his phone apologizing because that was my fuck up. I almost quit because of that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But with that being said, it was a great match. He suplexed me on my head. I hit him with
real quick. Did he finish the match?
He finished the match. Oh no, the match. Okay, so the match was badass because I hit him with a kendo stick and I bust him open. Well, and I go and I put a table into a corner and I was going to try and spear him through it. Well, he reverses it. He does a tiger suplex and I get sent through the table. And there, people are thinking, "Oh my God, he's dead." Now, this was supposed to set up for the third, this was supposed to be our finish, our blow off match.
The trilogy, yeah.
The trilogy. And it was supposed to be like it was supposed to be a hardcore anything goes match. Well, life sticks his pesky head in, and I mess up my other knee. So I'm training. I take a clothesline over the top, and I hit my knee onto the ring, and I felt a pop, and I'm like, oh my god, I know what that is, and it's scary.
Yeah, yeah.
And then my knee is swelling. I was like, no, not now, not now, please God, not now. And a couple of days later, I mean, I'm icing it down, I'm elevating it, and I'm like, okay, maybe it wasn't a tear, maybe it was a sprain, maybe it was a bruise. I could probably still work the match. And I'm like, I can still wrestle. I can still wrestle. They're like, did you get it looked at? No. Okay, go get it looked at. If the doctor blesses off on it, you're on. And the doctor x-rays it, and he's like, yeah, there's an anomaly in your knee. We need to get like a 3D imaging or something to that nature. I'm not medical, so I don't know what that was. And
I got you.
We need to get that looked at. Well, they did it, and it says, yeah, you have a torn ACL. And
that sucks.
And this was in February. This is in January. And I had to get the surgery in February, and I couldn't train. Let me back up. I couldn't be in the ring till November. And I'm over there negotiating, like, so you're saying,
oh wow, so
May.
February to November?
Yeah, so it was almost
10 months.
Yeah, 10 months, almost 11. And I'm here negotiating, begging with the doctors, saying like, okay, so what if I miraculously heal, like, say, September? No, November. Okay, so what you're saying is there's a possibility I could wrestle in June. He's like, you take one bad bump and your knees are gone. You're not wrestling anywhere. Yeah. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, and it kind of broke my heart because I'm sitting there and I'm just watching and I'm watching and it just sucks because, you know, what do you do? Because most knee injuries end people's careers. And
well, especially within the past few years, we've got some amazing medical advancements. But for a long time, I mean, up until, you know, the early 2000s, definitely a knee injury was devastating.
Exactly. And
especially for people that weren't like, you know, like a top tier NFL athlete that had $1 billion company behind them rebuilding their knee.
Exactly. And then what's worse about it is that it's one thing if it's a young guy where they're like 19, 20s, or even in their 30s. You got to remember, I started training just before the age of just shy of a couple of months before my 41st birthday.
Yeah.
And so I'm not exactly a spring chicken. So I'm over there and I'm asking myself, so what do I do? My injury, do I just walk away and say, hey, I did what I could, walk away into the sunset, or, you know, do you keep going? And that's that kind of like the Army thing. I didn't make my E5. I mean, it took me a long time to get my E5, and I never got my E6, and I was forced out. See, I don't know if back to the military, you have a certain time frame for you can attain a certain rank. So if you don't make E6 in 15 years, they boot you. So that's what happened. That's what happened. I got booted out because I didn't make E6 fast enough. So I was, I was angry. I had a chip on my shoulder. So I started.
Of course,
So Sergeant Slikk goes away. I became Slikk Tony Thomas, the ref, or Slikk, just Slikk. And I started reffing matches. So I was known as the guy with the knee brace and their stripes.
Oh, that name rolls off the tongue though, don't it? Slikk Tony Thomas.
Yes,
that could be a character on Kids Next Door right now.
I know. I know that. I mean, I grew up on that show, so I know exactly.
Hanging out with Tommy Pickles. Tommy Pickles. Yeah,
that's Rugrats though. Tommy Pickles is Rugrats.
I know, but they could have been on the same cartoon, bro. I'm telling you, easy.
Yeah. Probably same universe.
Rugrats too.
Yeah, they could probably. Well, yeah, you're right about that.
So Tony Thomas and Tommy Pickles, they'd have been best friends.
Yeah, exactly. If it's Tony Thomas, because older Tony Thomas would have been like weird. So I'm reffing matches, but at the same time, I'm kind of going against medical advice because I'm reffing matches. I'm reffing practice matches. I'm still going to train I'm still going to wrestling training sessions, and I'm doing little things. So like I'll run the ropes occasionally. I'll try to do rolls occasionally with the brace and all. And
things that aren't going to impact the knee too heavy. I got you.
Exactly. So I'm kind of like drifting into it, and I'm trying to get into it. So December rolls around. I'm not booked. So I'm finally cleared by my doctor. I'm finally cleared through physical therapy. And I think this was 2021 at this point. 2021, 2020. Yeah, it's got to be 2021. This is where my career is at a standstill because I'm not getting booked as much. Nobody remembers me from the 3 matches that I did. And the one match that I did do for CSW when I came back, I wasn't even supposed to be on. Somebody didn't show up, and it was a tag team match.
Just a moment where you had your gear with.
I had my gear.
Like, hey,
I was a referee, and I had my gear just in case. Yep. And it was at the time it was a CSW show. It was me and Joe Barton versus. Well, let me back up. It was supposed to be Johnny Crash and Eric Angel versus Joe Barton and a surprise character, as a surprise partner. I was the surprise partner, and I'm going to be honest with you, that was one of the worst matches of my life. Nothing against Johnny, nothing against Eric, nothing against Joe. It was all me because I got spooked, and the first thing that people said was, "Who? Who are you?" And it got in my head. And I didn't interact with the crowd. I was just doing spots, and I was in my own head. And like I said, that was probably one of the worst matches in my life because, like I was always told, if you get booed, that's good. Regardless if you're hearing heel or face, if you get
reaction,
cheered, that's good. But if you get no reaction, that is the worst thing you can have. And I had 0 reaction. It was crickets.
Yeah. Not everyone understands too in that moment that you can still find that reaction. You may have to work for it a little harder, but I totally, because I do commentary, so I'm watching. I watch a lot, and I watch detailed. So I see a lot of times where guys get out there and all of a sudden those nerves hit and they're like, oh shit, they're not doing something for me. And then it's downhill where it's like, okay, find it. Obviously one of you was told in the back to face or heel, or to heel or face or face or find it. If they don't like you, boom, switch it up on the fly, find that heel, but continue.
Yeah. And here's the thing. And I learned a lot that night because number one, that show, you could say that I was in wrestling for, at that point, it was like 2.5 years. But really, was I really in it for 2.5 years if you count the injury? because I was out for 11 months. So in reality, I was in but for 11 years, but I wasn't in for 11 years. I mean, 11 months, but I wasn't in for 11 months. So
how old were you when you got back into the ring? Was
42. It was
42?
It was either 42 or 43.
Yeah.
So after that, I wasn't booked at CSW for a while. I was still training at Animal Sam's Wrestling School. I wasn't utilized on CSW shows. To be honest with you, I wasn't utilized anywhere. So I was just Big Guns Justin Andrews comes up to me and says, "Look, I know you ain't got nothing going on. I had a friend of mine in the Army, in the service. He wanted to do a tag team, and he was talking about, how he wanted they wanted to do a True American Gangsters tag team. And he said, would you be interested in doing that? And I was like, okay, I ain't got nothing else going on. I'm not getting booked. Sure, whatever. Long as it gets me work, I don't give a shit. So then I did that, went to RCW with them. Then next thing I know, I'm RCW Tag Team Champs with Big Guns Justin Andrews.
Yeah.
And me and Justin Andrews, we go down to Texas in the Houston Arena down in Houston, and I was supposed to be a referee again. Well, it went from you're a referee to now you're in a tag match to now you're in a six-way to now you're in a six-way in the main event, all within a span of 45 minutes. And it was
wrestling's wild like that.
It is wild. Oh, yeah. And it's like you're in a main event. And I've never been in a main event before. I never did a six-way before. It is organized chaos. It's just chaos. Now, the story with that one is going to be, and Guns will tell you this, because I think it is my badass moment in Texas, because Houston is a different animal. They're a hotbed down there. So it was me and a couple of guys from Colorado and a couple of guys I never heard of. It was myself, Big Guns, Arturo Zamore, you probably know him, Rocky Mountain Pro, and three other guys from out of town. And we don't know what's going on. We already know who's going over. Well, a couple of weeks before I went to, and this part of the story is very important. A couple of weeks before the Texas show, I was getting taught how to take a power bomb.
Okay.
Yeah, we had the crash pads and stuff like that. Scared shitless on how to take a power bomb. I say, hey man, I can't do it. You sure? Come on, you can try. And Guns is giving me the power bomb because he's the only guy big enough to do it from the second row.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey man, I can't do it. I'm sorry, I can't do it. He's like, all right, don't worry about it. Here we are in Texas, and the ring ropes are very, very low. You know how the top rope is supposed to be towards the small of your back, towards your shoulder blades? Yeah, so the small of my back.
Okay.
So I'm running the ropes, and I'm trying not to hit go outside. So I'm literally running backwards, which is a no-no. And I take a lariat, and I get my shit rocked, and I'm concussed. And Guns, Guns, he lays him in. He that's what he's known for. I messed up. I mean, I bruised his bicep because he laid it in, and he knew something was wrong. Picks me up in the corner. He's like, "Hey man, you all right? Powerbomb spot, dude. Are you sure?" Powerbomb spot. So he whips me. I reverse it, do a splash in the corner. One, the 10 count turnbuckle shots. After the 9th one, he catches me. He does a Liger driver. The crowd chants, holy shit, and he's dead. No, actually, no. They chant that he's dead. They're just saying that I'm dead. Now, here's the thing. He goes for the pin. I kick out at 2 3/4, and that prompts a holy shit chant because that wasn't the finish. So I hammerlock lariat, and now this part I didn't even remember I got pinned because I was still trying to fight Zamori because we're the last three. I'm still trying to fight Zamori and Guns, and Zamori's like, "Hey man, you got pinned." I'm like, "I did?" Like, yeah, you're still fighting us. I was like, oh, okay, never mind. So and then I was like, and I apologized to Guns. I'm like, hey man, I'm sorry about your arm. He's like, let me see your eyes. And he's like, oh yeah, you're concussed. And yeah, I got. But the thing about it is that I took a power bomb after getting my shit rocked, and I got a holy shit chant. So I was like, okay, so maybe I'm not as bad at this as I thought. So we do Texas. We wrestle. We defend the RCW belts for a while, and then we lose. Okay. We lose to BOD in a 3-on-2 street fight, which I wish somebody had recorded that because
I'm unfamiliar with BOD.
Okay, so BOD was the team of JC Payne, Javier Cruz, and Conde Federico. JC Payne is no longer wrestling because of neck issues. I love the guy. Giving a shout out to JC Payne, even though he was a pain in my ass. I'm not gonna even lie about it, but I love the guy. Help train me a little bit. But so we had a storyline where we did a 3-on-2 street fight, and it was violent. We had tables, we had kendo sticks, we had. I think I hit somebody with a toilet seat, if I remember correctly. I don't remember. Well, anyway, so the finish of the match, Guns is tied up to the turnbuckle, and I get powerbombed through a table with army men on it. Now, I've had thumbtacks. The army men are worse than the thumbtacks. Okay, so we'll leave it at that. So I get.
You heard it here. We're gonna need a whole bag of army men at Slave to the Death match in September.
Army men, it's Legos. Yeah. Because I'm gonna be honest with you. I got a Michinoku driver from Guns when we did a Serengeti death match on Neon Lights Bar Fights. I mean, not Neon. Yeah, I don't know if it was Neon Lights Bar Fights. It was a show in Primos, but he Michinoku gave me a driver through thumbtacks, and I hardly felt them. I mean, I had them, but they didn't feel as bad. Yeah. Army men, they just pinched. I was like, shit. So we lost the titles to BOD, which I think they had the titles for a year in that company. Then and
at this point, are you guys called the American Gangsters?
True American Gangsters at this point.
True American Gangsters. Cool, awesome.
So then there's a tournament up north in Denver and Primos called Protagonist. Yes. And it was a 18 tournament where the winners advanced, and then it was a fatal 4-way. And we won. We won the tag team titles. And we're doing well. And then we were supposed to fight for, it was supposed to be title versus title, because we were supposed to fight the CSW tag team champs at the time, which was
I remember this. Yeah, I was with Primos. I think I just started, or I'd been there for a little bit, but yeah, I remember this.
So life rears its ugly head again. I can't compete. Actually, so 2 things happen. So Joe Barton gets an ankle injury. He can't compete. So we was gonna go and we was gonna compete next month. Well, I contract a certain illness at the time. I'm not going to say it because I don't want you to get in trouble. No. I don't know. So I contract a certain illness at the time, but it's worse. I didn't just get that illness, but I got pneumonia as well. I almost died.
Yeah. I know. You went through, you were definitely, you went through some hell, man.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad you're still with us. I'm glad you made it through that obstacle, because you were definitely going through some hell.
Oh, it was bad. I think because it was kind of funny because the job I was working at the time, they were like, "Oh yeah, well you're gonna be bedridden for like 14 days," and then my doctor was like, "Dude, he has pneumonia. He's gonna be on an iron lung for 2 months." So
crazy. That is insane. Yes. And I don't think a lot of people even recognize that, especially with your story. A lot of people just kind of go, "Oh, well, he wasn't at training or something." You go, "Dude, the guy was going through some major things. Like, it wasn't just like, I don't want to be there. It was like fighting for their life, literally."
The funny part, But there's a funny part behind that, because even though I had at the time, even though I had scarred lungs, I would still show up for training. I wouldn't do anything, but I would have a mask and I would have my 2 oxygen tanks there, and I would film or I would do something, because it just sucks. I mean, that was one time I was at a CSW show and I helped set up the ring, and I had 90 minutes worth of oxygen. So I'm like, and I had a mask on. So I'm like putting in the boards and putting in the post, and what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? I'm like, help setting up the ring. Like, but you got messed up pneumonia. Don't worry about me. Just
we're good.
We're good. Let me do what I do. You do what you do. And
in the words of a wise man, I'm good, bruh.
Yeah, exactly.
Gary Emmett.
So I did that for a little while, and then after I was cleared with my lungs, then it's like you're reacclimating yourself again. It's almost like moving to Colorado all over again, because now I have to work on cardio. You have to work on all this stuff. And then so now it's like I said, I've been wrestling, just as my 4th year wrestling, but in reality, I've been wrestling for 2.5 years, because I was out for a year and a half. Yeah. So when I come back, I'm not booked anywhere. I'm not booked in Primos. I'm not booked at CSW. The only place that I'm booked at was RCW. So I hit up a former training friend of mine who's wrestling down in Arizona, Gabriel Alexander. Good guy. I'm gonna give a shout out to him. Gabe, I didn't forget about you. We are gonna run it back soon. I promise. I will go.
You're here on a sweet spot, baby. Down there. Come for you.
So me and Gabe, we got this thing on who is the better student, because he got trained by Big Guns and Justin and Big Guns and Jimbo Lucas as well. So
hell yeah.
So, and I've wrestled in his promotion. I've wrestled in promotions where he's been at, and we've did slight jabs at each other. He's won a couple of titles. I won a couple of titles, but while I still got mileage in the tank, I want a piece of the ego trimmer. So I'm call it what you want, respect or whatever. But I gotta get at least one with them before I hang it up.
Hell yeah!
So I go to Arizona, Tucson, and it's Misty Mountain Wrestling. Yeah. Nobody knows who I am, and I'm in the semi-main, and I wrestle Roman Alexander, who's a big deal down there in Tucson, and I wrestle a guy named Austin Cole, up and comer down in the Misty and Tucson in Arizona, and we've never wrestled each other. I've met Roman before. In fact, a little known fact, we were supposed to do a thing where it was me and Big Guns versus the Alexanders, Gabriel and Roman. We're supposed to with no titles, just gonna see who was the best tag team out there. And I got sick, and we had to scrap that, which sucked because I would have loved it. So I'm semi-main. I haven't wrestled a match in damn near 6 months. Nervous, wonder if I still got it. So that match is on YouTube too. I put that on my channel. That was probably one of the best.
And then your channel is just Slikk Tyson Stone?
Yeah, go to YouTube, type in Slikk Tyson Stone. It'll be the pissed off black dude with the hood. That's all it is. Looking like a pissed off ghetto Grim Reaper. There you go. So we had like 15, 20 minutes, and I'm clearly the heel, and Cole's the heel, and Alexander's the face. And I mean, it was a great match. I did a move on Cole, and I posted the video here, and people swore that I broke Cole's neck. I said I did not break his neck. He was fine. I swear to God, I checked on the guy.
This looked good. Yeah.
It looked really good, because they were like, dude, you broke his neck. I didn't break his neck. And basically the net was the move that I did.
Ice the polar bears. I got you.
Exactly. It was Goto GTR. I think that's what it was. And it was done by Hariyoko. I'm probably saying it wrong. Goto. in New Japan, and I wore a knee brace. That's what I'm known for, is I'm having knee braces. So I do like a reverse DDT, but it's kind of like a lariat onto my knee. And it was called the Decapitator. And he sold it, and then I was talking smack, and then I walked right into an F5. So there you go. After the match, Roman Alexander said that he's been wrestling, I think it was like 15 years. That was one of the best matches that he's ever done. And I was like, dude, I haven't wrestled in 6 months. He's like, well, if you haven't wrestled in 6 months, I would love to see how you are when you wrestle consistently, because that was a very good match. And then I started getting back into there. And then I started, after that, I started wrestling for RCW a little bit more. I wrestled here and there. I wasn't consistent. So let's see here. At that point, Guns was gone again. So and by the way, when I came back from COVID, when I came back from COVID, that's when I became Slikk Tyson Stone. So I officially killed off Sergeant Slikk. Okay. I became Mr. Mess Around and Find Out, Slikk Tyson Stone. And then I went down to Arizona, worked a little bit, went to RCW, worked a little bit, had little matches here and there in CSW, and I had little matches here and there in Primos.
Well, you did find some success here in Colorado underneath the Slikk Tyson Stone moniker.
Yes,
becoming the 719 champion. Yes. And you carried that belt for quite a while, especially throughout the state. So, you did find that success, and I think there's a lot more success too. You just got to keep pushing, man.
Oh yeah, of course. And with the 719 championship, that was special to me because I didn't think I was going to get a singles title, which at the time my mindset was I was okay if I didn't get a singles title. Yeah. But now that I've lost the singles title, and the way that my career is going, I started thinking to myself, well, am I done, or do I have a little bit left? So now I'm training like I did in Iraq, where and the best way the best way I can describe my mindset. Have you ever seen the movie Men of Honor with Cuba Gooding Jr. and Robert De Niro?
I have not.
Good movie. You should watch it. It's an actual true story of Carl Brashear. And there is a line where Robert De Niro, he's a racist, straight racist, and he's in the Navy. They're training, and Cuba Gooding Jr. is training to be a diver.
Okay, I have seen it. No, I have. Yes, okay. You started once you start. Yeah, anyway. Yep. Okay.
So there was a scene where
I was just real young. So,
that's I was an adult. I think I was in my 20s or 30s when that came out.
Teens at least.
Yeah, right. And there was a line in that movie after De Niro breaks the radio that Brashear's dad made him, and he said, "Why do you want this so bad?" And he says, "Because they said I could never have it." And that's how I feel about wrestling. That's how I feel about everybody that says, "Oh, well, he's a drizzling shit. He's got bad knees. He's too old. He's this, he's that." Like, if you see that, I'm a 45-year-old guy that's been in the military for 22 years, got deployed 4 times in a row, almost died twice. Yeah, you would think that. But if you saw the bullshit that I almost went through, the injuries that I went through, I almost died and I still came back, then you will have a different outlook on things. I'm not gonna be a high flyer like Logan Austin. I'm not gonna be a powerhouse like Marlon Bishop. I'm not gonna be big and tall like but what I am,
maybe not the big and tall part, part, but you definitely could be a beast like Marlon. Don't you doubt yourself there.
Marlon. Well, that's the thing. like I always say, I don't want to be another Marlon. I want to be the first
No,
Slikk
yeah.
Tyson Stone. And the
You
thing
want to be
about
the
it,
equalizer, baby.
I want to be the
got you.
equalizer. And the thing about it
Yeah.
is that I say this to everybody. You know what? I'm not going to be like everybody else, but every match that I'm in, whether I'm a heel or as a face, you're going to give a damn about me, especially as a face. Like I said, I get attacked and I get my knees, but I still go up and fight. I'm a heel. I mean, like I said, I almost incited a riot in Arizona because I was talking shit, you know, but you are going to get some reaction from me. I'm gonna make you want to fight me or something. I'm gonna make fun of you, but you're gonna feel something when I leave that ring. I don't care what you feel, but you're gonna feel something. So
that's a good goal.
Yeah.
That's a good mindset too, especially within professional wrestling. You know, like I mean, the whole is you could be like you had said, not saying that you are by any means, but you could be the drizzling shit. As long as you're invoking emotion from that crowd, as long as you have them on their feet screaming, you will have a place for the rest of your life.
Exactly. And I agree with that.
So it's cool to hear you say that that's like your goal, that's kind of where you're at now, and that's your mindset is, that's a lot of people don't have that mindset. A lot of people are just out there and they don't even know what they are yet. They've had a hard time finding themselves. So going through what you've gone through and to be able to find that at the end is pretty cool.
And the thing about it is that I'm still finding myself because you got to think I went from a trainee to Sergeant Slikk to to Slikk Tyson Stone to Mr. Mess Around and Find Out to the Equalizer, and I'm still evolving my character because I'm the same guy. It's just little pieces of me has evolved, you know. And the reason why I call and I know this is the next question, and if it isn't, sorry, it's like, well, why are you the Equalizer? What makes you the Equalizer? Why? I mean, why are you taking your name from a Denzel Washington movie or from an 80s TV series?
Well, first off, because that movie's amazing.
It's amazing. Okay. First off, Denzel Washington is an absolute treasure. We need to put him in bubble wrap and make sure nothing happens to him.
Amen.
But the Equalizer, and I talked to Justin Big Guns about this. And I talked about my character, and the Equalizer is this. One of the things that I say is that pain is my business, the ring is my office. The last thing you want to be is a client, and that is.
We need to hold on. So first off, I'm gonna get to Photoshop here after this. I'm gonna make a back to that shirt because we have the Equalizer logo, right?
Yes, we do.
So we just need to put the back on it now. That's just the text that goes on the back of that shirt.
Hey, I'll cash app you afterwards. No, but
no, you're good. That's free. That's cool. That'll be so easy. That's just text. I got you.
And the thing about it is that my character, I don't want to say that he's a bad guy. He has a code, but now I'm like, look, I need you to understand when you're in the ring with me, it's business. It's nothing personal. I'm going to do whatever I got to do to win. I don't give a damn who you are. You can win every single championship in this territory. That's cool. But you're in the ring with me now. And I'm going to do whatever it takes. I don't care what you identify as. I don't care what your orientation is. I don't know what your religious preference is. I don't care. I really don't care. My grandmother could be in the ring. God bless her. She going to get
Amen. Shout out, Granny. You get these hands.
I mean, exactly. I mean, I'm the type of person where I'll beat your ass, and if I'm nice enough, I'll call the ambulance for you.
Oh, yes.
So he's not really a good guy.
Equality, baby. That's what you're about.
Equality, exactly. They're ready. I mean, anybody can get it. Anybody can get it. I don't care. You know, so that's where I'm at, you know, and I'm kind of like, you know, just, you know, mixing it up a little bit. I mean, he still got little traits of, you know, Mr. Mess Around and Find Out. If anything, this character's more Mr. Mess Around and Find Out.
I mean, the moniker didn't leave. It's still a part of you. That's
still there. It's just evolved.
So,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. You just went from Charmeleon to Charizard. I got you.
Exactly. And it's like I said, because normally, like Slikk Tyson Stone, the Mr. Mess Around and Find Out character, he wouldn't fight. He would take it easy on people smaller than him, or he wouldn't fight females. Now it's like, are you sure you want to do this? Because I'm not going to be held responsible for my actions. I'm not going to jail for this. I need you to get a waiver or something saying that you're doing this, because you're going to get your ass beat.
Well, the cool thing going forward is you got some major backup in the works, and you've heard that your spouse is training and in the mix, ready to start throwing them hands. Mess around and find out. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so I'm gonna have to set this straight right now, because I'm not gonna get beat up, because we kind of had an impromptu match last night, and she's deadly. I'm sorry, I don't know who the hell I married. Okay, so Jim Stone, the Brick House, Jim Stone.
Ooh, I like that.
She's a
brick. Yeah,
exactly.
Yes.
So her character, I mean, she's a model. She's a model that can she's a model that can knock you on your ass. She's actually done modeling work. So she is a legit model. She has been published.
She'll be able to work that stage, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the last thing that because she did a promo on me last night. So if you've never seen Intimidation is having your wife do a promo on you in front of you and doing your catchphrase on you. I'm like, what? Are you serious right now?
Did you guys get it on tape? Did you guys tape?
No, we didn't. We didn't.
Oh, you should have. You should have recorded that.
We should have.
Yeah.
But the thing
just so you have it for going forward.
Exactly. But the thing about it is that she doesn't want to be known as Mrs. Slikk. She does not want to be known as the wife of Slikk Tyson Stone. She wants to be her own person, which I completely and totally understand and respect that. Man, she wanted
affiliated. I got you, but still on your own paths. Yeah,
she wanted to wrestle me. Like, she wants to wrestle her husband.
I'm just saying, what have you done? What did you do at home to cause this? Because obviously you did something. She wants to beat your ass.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I'm lucky that I married her, because she's definitely out of my league. Because we got married when we were married. I was 9 years her senior. I was getting divorced. I had 3 kids, and like I mentioned in the military, my military career sucked. Her, on the other hand, had no children, had her degree, had her own place, had her own car. 9 years my junior, and the only thing she had was a dog. And like I said, she's way out of my league. Now, how the hell did she wind up marrying me, producing me 2 beautiful children, and then supporting my dream? I mean, the thing about it is, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, I want to do wrestling," and most guys would be like, "No, I don't want you to wrestle." But I didn't ask that. I asked her. I said, "Why do you want to wrestle?" And she gave me the answer that I thought she would give. So I don't know if you remember the street fight that me and RJ Kernan had. It was in December, CSW, for the 719 title.
I started CSW in January.
Okay,
so I wasn't there December.
So a little bit of backstory. My very first opponent, who's RJ Kernan, respect the guy, hate his guts. He's the type of guy I wish he got hit by an asteroid. I don't wish it on nobody else but him.
Yeah.
Can't stand the guy. I would love to face him again, just to beat his ass again. Because he was my very first match, and he got me fired as a referee at CSW when I was reffing. And so he was my official first match. So backstory, I was the 719 champion. I got through wrestling Tombstone Jesus. He comes up behind me, and I looked at him, and I'm like, what the hell? He leaves me laying. He lays me out. Next month, he at the time, he's the number 1 contender. He won a number 1 contendership match for my 719 championship.
Okay.
So we wrestle again next month. I lose, but I lose by disqualification.
Yeah.
He lays me out again, raises my title over my head, stomps on my face, insults my wife and kids in front of me. So Slikk, normally calm and composed, he loses his mind. He doesn't shave. He looks disheveled. He looks like how one of the guys look on B Street. Yeah, look how
like
that
me.
Guy. Yeah, no, worse than you. I mean, I had people handing me money like, if you want, you can go to the shelter on A Street. They take on anybody. You got to be there by 5.
Oh, like, no.
I'm not homeless. I look homeless. I'm not homeless. So I challenge him. So the thing about RJ Kernan is that street fighting, hardcore matches is his specialty.
Yeah.
Not mine. So I challenge him to match of his caliber, to a street fight. So yeah, we are beating the piss out of each other. That's on my YouTube page as well. We beating the piss out of each other. I take a kendo stick to the chest. I mean, he literally exposed my chest and just Hank Aaron'd it. And so I got a giant whelp across my chest. He drop toe holds me on a chair, suplexes me on the outside. I hit him with a keyboard, a personal Bluetooth. I hit him with a keyboard, and they think it is gimmick, but the keys actually explode. And I hit him.
That's so good. That's what I was going to ask. Did the keys fly off? Yeah,
the keys fly out, and they were yelling one more time. And the pivotal point of the match is that I think I get DDT'd on the outside, and RJ goes to my wife. He remembers what my wife looks like. Now, here's the thing. My wife is taller than me and RJ. Okay.
Yeah, no, she's
tall.
beast for sure. Yeah.
Exactly. So RJ literally like talking smack to her, and she literally slaps the piss out of him. That the announce table, so she's in the crowd in the back, and the Gunn said that he heard it all the way back there. So, and then she slaps him again. Now, RJ is about to hit her, and I didn't catch it in time. She blocks it. And everybody's like, what the hell? Like, everybody's mouth is open. And then next thing I know, I get a cutter from the outside on the ground, and we're both laid out because, cutter's on the ground. Then after the show, and then the next thing I know is like we're watching WrestleMania, the one that just happened this year, a couple of months later.
Yep.
And she watched the Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair match. Now here's the thing: Jim does not watch wrestling with me. Not like
that's
that.
What you've said that. I remember actually, I think you made a Facebook post specifically about this. You're like, yo, Jim watched this match. And I can't believe it. And then you guys have gone to now you guys have gone on to like AEW and live events together. And
we went to
training. But continue.
So we're doing everything, and she's like, Tony, I want to wrestle. So Slikk. Oh, I'm going off my shoe name, so whatever. I mean my work name, but anyway, she's like, Slikk, I want to wrestle. And I'm like, but why? And she's like, well, the thing about it is that I now know how you feel when you wrestle in front of people. I now know how you feel when you are out there and you're performing your craft. Plus, there's not a lot of female wrestlers in Colorado, and there isn't any black wrestlers in Colorado. And I want to do it for representation.
Yeah, facts, dude.
And I told her, I said, okay, well, you need to understand, you need to learn that everything that I went through for the last 4 years, you're gonna go through that. You're gonna come, you're gonna get pain, you're gonna get frustrated at yourself when you can't do a sequence.
Possibility of injury.
Yeah, possibility of injury. I've had 5 minor injuries, 1 major injury when I was out for a year.
And they were all setbacks. They set you back. So you gotta be able to understand that going forward, there could be a year that you're not there. But you still got to find that passion to come back and create what you wanted to.
And she said, I'll do it. And she said, and plus she said, look, I will train with you. And this is what she led in with. She didn't say, oh, I want to be a wrestler. No, this is what she led in with, because I was kind of having low moments about my wrestling career. Because I was like, you know what? And this was after I lost the 719 title to Ryzen. And I was like,
yeah.
Am I done? Do I have anything more to give? And she's like, yeah, you got plenty to give. I'm like, well, I don't know. And then she's like, how about this? How about I go to training with you to make you accountable that you go to training? And I was like, wait a minute. Are you going with me as in you're driving and you go make sure I show, or you're going with me and you want to train and do what I do? And it's like, I want to go with you and train and do what you do. And I'm like, and we told her parents, and the first thing that she said, her dad said, was, what have you done? What I blame you for this. And
it's your damn fault.
It's your fault. And I'm like, I didn't do it. This is not my idea. I would
have like,
hell no. Exactly. It is exactly like that. And I'm like, I didn't do anything. She's like, well, I was like, well, I don't need my son-in-law and my daughter injured. I'm like, look, you think I don't want her injured. I mean, shit, I don't want me injured, but so that's where we're at. Tooting, and like I said, I'm kind of biased, but I'll leave it at that. Is that I know we're not supposed to compare progression, but if Jim started training the same time I started training, like if we started at the same time, I think Jim would surpass me.
Hey man, that is
she's that good. I mean, there's things that she needs to pick up on, but she's doing stuff.
Of course,
she's doing stuff in like 4 or 5 training sessions that took me months to get down.
I have a similar situation, right? So like, I'm not a wrestler. I don't wrestle I'll never get in the ring. I might pull a Randy Rude, and wrestle like a friend once. But watching my son, okay, like, I mean, what I do is I run my mouth, so I have to be good on the mic, right? I have to be able to, just on the fly freestyle,
right?
And then that little Jackson will get in that ring, he'll cut a promo, he'll call out Marlon Bishop, he'll do whatever he does, and everyone's like, man, this kid is a natural, he's so good, he's so great at promos, and I've heard, honest to God, and I'm sure everyone will even attest to this. He's a better promo than 90% of the boys in the back.
Exactly.
And it's like, golly, man, like, and the pride that I feel, which I'm sure is very similar to you, and Jem is, golly, like that is, it's unbelievable. Because I know someday he's gonna be 10 times what I am. Exactly. And if he can, it's gonna be, it's wild. So yeah, I have a very similar situation.
It's bonkers, really, because you look back at it, and I'm like, why am I letting my wife do this? I'm crazy as hell to do this myself. A 41-year-old rookie to start, and I'm doing this, and I'm 45 and I'm decent, and then she wants to do this, and I should be talking her out of this because of everything that I've done, and I've seen both the good, the bad, and the crazy. And then I'm like, she's actually good. I'm like, what? And then the next thing I know is like, are you going to bring your kids into it? I'm like, I don't know, because I mean, my daughter's an athlete right now. She runs track and she's on the cheerleading squad, and we're trying to get my 10-year-old son, into running and possibly football. But, I don't know, that could possibly happen,
It's something that, you never force on anyone, but Jackson was just around it so much, and then he loved it, watching it growing up. He's a huge fan first, and then he got hooked because he kept coming to the Primo shows alongside me, and that's something that I have the pleasure of, is being able to share my hobby with my son.
Right.
You had brought this up a little earlier in the interview, how you had to transition. Your life had to take a back seat.
Yes.
I was lucky enough that my son wanted that life, and it was a transition almost for him. It was like, I'm doing this, but he gets way more out of it than I ever will.
Exactly.
Because he's making relationships. He's creating friends with these wrestlers, veterans, his trainers, Joey, Malibu Bobby, Urza. There's people that Ryan Furster. There's people that have been around him, Fuji Brown, that have molded him into such a successful young man. I'm going to be very proud to watch him grow.
Exactly.
And so I'm very lucky to be able to share that with him.
And plus, if he doesn't, and I'm glad that you mentioned that, because even if he doesn't cut it as a wrestler, I was always told by one of my trainers, I believe it was Sam. They always said, just because you're not a wrestler doesn't mean you can't be in the wrestling business. Because, like I said, I'm not going to be doing this forever. I'm not, but I would like to be. I would like to transition into some backstage role, maybe producer, maybe creative, because I love telling stories and I love doing storylines.
Yep.
Hell, maybe commentary one of these days, because I can talk. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm bad on promos. I'm pretty decent. So, or maybe be a mouthpiece for Jim, because like I said, she has more longevity in the business than I do. So
you could start your own stable, just your family though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, well, I have 3 older sons. See, I mentioned the younger 2, but my older 3, they live in Arizona. I have a 23-year-old, a 21-year-old, and an 18-year-old.
Okay.
And the 18-year-old is big as hell. And I'm like, why aren't you playing for 18? You need to be a center for somebody. Donovan, you need to be a center for Atlanta or something.
Tall, huh?
He's not tall.
Okay.
He's like wide. So,
got you.
But here's a little known fact: all my children, with the exception of the last 2.
Oh, you meant football center. I'm thinking basketball center.
No, football center.
Yeah,
football center.
Got you.
No, so my 3 older children, they're taller than me. Yep. My daughter, she's 13. The way that she's growing, she's going to be taller than me. My 10-year-old son is going to be taller than me. So it's going to be funny because all 5 of my kids are going to be taller than I am. So, my wife is taller than me. So it sucks.
Hell yeah. Genetics, man. Yes. I'm telling you.
Genetics is not cool. It's horrible. It's horrible.
I outshined my dad, and I'm sure that burnt him up until the day he died.
Yeah, probably.
He's always looking up at me like, God damn it.
Just kick him in the knees. They'll be the same size.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, brother, I appreciate you being on the show with me, man.
Oh, no, pleasure is all mine. I've been wanting to be on the show for a while. I greatly, greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, dude, we still got a lot more to talk about, too. We can keep doing this thing for another hour and a half. At least we've already been going an hour and a half.
Yeah, I can't even do an hour and a half because I have a pregnancy engagement later. So, but no, but yeah, if you got one more question or two, go ahead, do what you do.
No, man, I'm gonna let you plug your any matches that you do have coming up, any future bookings here.
Yes, so I have a couple. I got to get the calendar out because
do your thing, man.
Yeah, the memory is not as good as it's used to. Like I said on my Facebook page, I was selected to represent, go to STF or Pro Wrestling in Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm very proud of that. I have a couple, I'm in negotiations with a couple of more promotions. So cool. Stay tuned for that. And let me get okay. So I have, if this thing will come up because it's being stupid.
Hey man, technology sucks.
Yeah, I know. It's funny because, like I said, I'm an IT guy, so it's funny that technology stinks.
Boy, me too. I'm telling you.
Yes. So let's see. I know I have a match on. I'm going to be booked on July 14th at Primo's Aero Lucha. Okay.
Let's go.
Okay. Yep. And I have another match. Yeah, that's Primo's right there. I have a match at One Revolution Wrestling.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, I love that place. Like I said,
yes.
Could you imagine Slikk busting out Lucha?
I can actually. I totally can.
I mean, I'm serious.
Yeah.
See here, give me 1 second because it's everywhere. Okay, there we go. Come on, you stupid phone. And my phone is tripping right now. That's awesome. Be bad,
bro.
Oh God, give me 1 second. I'm so sorry.
You think, brother? Ain't no worries. We ain't got no rush.
I don't. I mean, stupid. Oh, no wonder my phone is on the wrong network. That's why. See here.
Yeah, I'll be
Yeah,
making that mistake when I get home. I'll be going from the local Xfinity Wi-Fi's, and they'll just
yeah,
connect to the one near me, and it sucks. I'm like, no, go to
yeah.
my good home internet.
Yeah, so the funny thing about it is like I have 3 levels to my house. So the one that I'm currently in is like the downstairs. So the
The
signal,
dungeon.
yeah, the dungeon's like my mansion down here.
Yes.
So yeah, so that's why it's kind of like a problem because it just doesn't open up. Uh,
100% understand, bro. I
oh
used to live
God.
in a basement.
Oh yeah. Well, basements are good. It's like
I
not.
loved it. It was so cold, but you know, it is what
Yeah,
it is.
no, I got you. You know what? I got one more thing I could try. Give me 1 second here. Okay.
Yeah, do your thing, dude.
So, yes, I will. Okay. So I got it up. So I will be at, it will be One Revolution Rebellion at July
Okay.
23rd. Okay. It's going to be
Awesome.
at the Under the Sun Training and Daycare. It's a dog park, but
That's
trust
the
me.
day after Aero Lucha, right?
No, Aero Lucha's on the 14th. This is the week after.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I thought that was the 20th. Yeah, my bad.
No. That's
Okay,
where we're at
cool.
right now. Like I said, I should have more bookings in the future, and I'm going to go ahead and plug a couple other things. So,
Yeah.
number one, these are going to be real hard to remember. So, bear with me. If you want to track me on Facebook, that's where I do all my bookings, plug my stuff. I'm going to be a little bit more active on there. It's going to be Slikk Tyson Stone. That's with SLIKK, 2Ks.
Yeah, 2Ks.
Also,
Not 3, you fuckers.
no. Three's a no. Also on Instagram, it's Slikk_Tyson_Stone.
Yeah.
I've actually got a TikTok, so Slikk Tyson
Okay.
Stone under there. I'm also working on a project with Twitch and YouTube. So I have YouTube, which is Slikk Tyson Stone. I'm also a big gamer. So I'm going to start. That was one of the projects that I got into work. But again, life gets in the way. So I'm going to start. It's actually have a show called Slick's Rage Quit Sessions. So it's I'm not a good gamer. So if you think
self-explanatory,
if you think it's like if you think I'm like Ninja, then don't come here. But it's just going to be me spazzing out. I was thinking the first game I was going to do was Elden Ring, but I don't know if I could do 2 hours.
Rage sells, man. Rage sells. If you've ever watched Into Tap Man, that dude gets over by just getting angry at the damn games. Him and Doc both.
But yeah, we definitely got to do this again because
dude, part 2. It's definitely coming up for sure.
Definitely, I greatly appreciate it.
We'll let it simmer for about 6 months, maybe. Get you some more matches under your belt. We'll let Gem get into the mix, and we can run it back, brother.
Oh, I appreciate it.
We can hit the grindstone, as they say.
Yes, maybe even interview her when she gets her start.
We could do both, y'all, man. We could do a duo.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be like marriage therapy right there. I don't know.
Hey, I'm here. I'm here for you guys. Okay, I appreciate you, man.
It. No,
thank you for coming on. We'll run it back here soon. We'll pick up a date. We'll figure it out, and I will be seeing you at Primo's Aero Lucha. Be sure to follow Slikk on all the social media: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Twitch. You can find them anywhere you want to find this beautiful individual. They're a great person. They've always been wonderful to me. One of the few people that brought me into this Colorado scene with love and respect immediately upon meeting them. So I'm forever indebted to you, brother. I love you with all my heart. I hope you get all the success and everything you and your family are looking for. And I'll be talking to you here soon, man.
I appreciate you, brother. Have a great weekend. Take care of yourself for me.
Later, brother. That's been The Sweet Spot with Rocco McSweets and Slikk Tyson Stone. Be sure to give us a follow here on the Shady Sports Network, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, YouFace, I don't know. I love you guys. Appreciate you for following me through this amazing journey. We're on episode 9. Can't believe it. I'm going to leave you guys with a little bit of some high fives, guy. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the High Five Strangers guy. Game-winning interception. First down. Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extrovert. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.